Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Red. Welcome back to another reaction video. Now today we will be reacting to Game Theory, Fnaf Stumped Me Again by the Game Theorists. I recently saw one of Matt's theories on film theory, and now Paw Patrol is born for me. Thanks, Matt. Anyway, let's get into the video. Also, link to the region will be down in the description below. Also, guys, link to the Game Theorists channel will be down in the description below. Go subscribe to the channel, show them your support, and let's get into the video.
Look at that.
Gotta make sure the volume is right.
4 months without a single Fnaf episode.
It's been
Feels
4
like
months
it's a
since the
brand new
last
day for the
security
channel.
breach theory, really?
So many new games, new meta theories, even some classic science.
Why is Glitch Trap there?
I'm happy, I'm healthy. Life is
Must be good.
And now,
Hope you're enjoying your
relax.
vacation, Matt. Shark! Matt!
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show where old habits and old animatronics die hard. Today, we're talking about the 12th and final installment of the Fazbear Frights book series.
He's used that word so many times
That's
in this
right,
franchise.
friends, the final book. Until the next 3 come out later this year.
So that yummy.
Let's not think about that and instead focus on Felix. Now, this final book is special.
Felix the
Just
shark.
Like all the others, it too is a collection of 3 short, spooky stories vaguely connected to the wider FNAF lore. But where this one is different is that it's meant to be a collection of cut stories. As the official description reads, quote, stories that didn't make the cut for the first 11 books. Which, okay, they didn't appear in numbers 1 through 11, but still, they wound up getting published anyway as the 12th one. Is that such a big deal? In fact, because they're last, they're probably in the most important position of any of the stories.
Maybe.
And, well, you might assume that they were cut because they were weaker or lesser than the 33 other Fazbear Frights that were produced. It's not really true. You cut the story about an animatronic shark, but you kept the one where a boy turns into a traffic sign. You cut
Wait,
Girl
what?
Solves Dead Body
I haven't read all the
animatronic
books.
Suit mystery, but kept tiny guppy bodies. You cut a security guard named Mike going around collecting haunted FNAF memorabilia, and yet kept Fazgoo. The
Yeah,
truth
I
is,
remember
we don't really
Fazgoo.
know why these were cut. It could have been a quality thing. It could have been that they confused the lore, or maybe
My favorite story is still,
it could have been
which
that they
book
were
was it?
intentionally
I think it's the
designed to set
4th
up
book.
secret puzzles that we were meant to solve, and those puzzles never got fully realized. Spoiler alert, I think it might have been that last one. I believe that
Unfinished
Scott was
puzzles.
planning to use this final book as a launching point, the start of a real-world treasure hunt that would have required using the books, the games, even stuff like the coloring book in order to crack. I suspect that this was a riddle so far-reaching and so complex, it would have required the cooperation of FNAF theorists from across the globe. Today, I'm
Oh, that'd
gonna
be
explain
fun,
the clues
to gather
that
all
led
the
me to this
theorists.
conclusion, but more importantly, I'm gonna
To
ask
gather
you
all,
for your help.
what was I
You
saying?
see, well,
Why did I forget what I was gonna say? I was gonna say, that'd be fun to, like, gather all the theorists. I know Matt has done a live stream with, other FNAF theorists, and I think, when was his, he did one, like, years ago, and he did one, I think, last year, maybe? I can't remember when it was, but sometime, like, a few months ago, let's say a few months ago, he did one.
reasonably confident this thing was never finished. I'm not sure. I can't be sure unless you all double check for me. A few years ago, I asked for all your help in solving the security logbook, and a day later, we discovered the name of Cassidy.
word search
Today, I'm gonna ask you
instead
for
of
something similar.
the
I'm gonna take you on a
alphabet
journey
grid.
through some weird corners of FNAF lore and some loose threads that I see in this new book, and then I'm gonna ask you for the favor.
Before I knew about this
to
book,
help
I was
me
wondering
either
if there
solve
was
this
any
thing
shark
once and for all,
animatronic.
or debunk it. And who knows? Maybe this is the push that we need to get the next major answer to the
They released what's
game's
hidden inside the
lore.
FNAF 4
Before you
box.
help me with the lore, I was wondering if you'd help me in another way. It's
Okay.
time for our newest collection of Theoryware merch.
Of course.
And as always, you checking out the items goes a long way to help fund everything that we're doing over here on the channel. This collection in particular is going to be especially fun if you're a fan of analog horror, the X-Files, or Area 51.
Looks
It's
cool.
all about conspiracy boards, sky watching, and secret undercover fact-finding missions. Let me just start off by introducing you to the item that everyone's going to want to get, the Game Theory Lava Lamp. Filled
Oh,
with
man,
neon
you're right.
green
I
alien
want
goo.
that.
This one is perfect for your room or your desk and has been running
I need to get
nonstop
the
in my
lava lamp.
office since they got the finalized prototype
That
a
looks
month
so
ago.
cool.
It is awesome. It's also a completely unique piece of YouTuber merch. If you ever wanted a lava lamp while also showing off your theorist pride, this is the perfect item for you. The lava lamp also partners really well with another brand new item in
Yeah,
our
I need to get
roster,
one.
the T-Man sunglasses. These things are perfectly balanced, as all
I could
things
use some
should be.
sunglasses,
Classic
even though I'm
design
wearing
that
some right
perfectly
now.
frames your face
Are
with
these
a bit of
technically
fun
sunglasses, or
Game
these
Theory
just
green on
look
the
good?
insides of the arms, while also keeping
Not
up
his
the
ones, the
matte
ones I'm
finish
wearing.
and subtle patterning on the outside of the arms to give them an air of sophistication. Historically, I've struggled finding sunglasses that I love. So I decided to make some sunglasses
Nice.
that I absolutely love.
If you can't
and I
find
think
one
you're
you
gonna
like,
love too.
make
Speaking
one you
of
like.
things I love, this new jogger set. I mean, just look at the picture on screen right now. I don't know if I've ever
Looks
felt
comfortable.
that good in a picture in my life. And if it can make me feel that good posing in an awkward photo shoot, imagine how great you'll feel in it lounging around or out and about. Soft and lightweight, but still warm and stylish. And of course, complete with thumb holes. Also, it wouldn't be a new Theoryware merch drop without a slew of new hoodies, t-shirts, and jackets. All of it with embroidered details to give you quality that you can
almost
feel. This
dropped
isn't
my
just
camera.
your typical YouTuber spray-on design merch. These items are all custom cut and sewn to deliver you actual high-quality garments.
Man,
that you'll
I
actually wanna
after
wear
the
and
video,
that
I gotta
will
think about
last
getting
for
some.
as many times as you want to wear them. Just look at the liner of this jacket. It is literally a redacted document, which is a detail that I specifically requested the team
It does look
execute
really
on. I mean,
cool.
where else do you find clothing that has cool details like that? In my opinion, it just elevates the design, and I think that you'll appreciate it too. Last item that I'll specifically call out
If you're
here,
sure,
our
sure,
first
I'll
ever
check it out after
button-down
the video.
shirt ripped straight out of Roswell, New Mexico. The alien print here is super fun. Again, we custom designed this fabric from the ground up to make the shirt. It's also perfectly accessorized with a tinfoil hat. So grab yourself a garment that goes perfectly with some red yarn and your conspiracy theory boards. A handful of items are available right below this video in the merch shelf, or you can just head on over to theoryware.com to check out the full collection. And as
Will do.
always, thank you guys so much for the support. Now back to FNAF. In order to unwrap the secret FNAF ARG, let's start by breaking down the stories in Felix the Shark, shall we? The final story, You're the Band, is probably the most obviously related to existing FNAF lore. In it, a small boy named Timmy becomes obsessed with everyone's favorite pizza murder franchise, Freddy Fazbear's. His mother finds him a strange Freddy mask on the internet and gives
Oh, I thought it was
to him
gonna be a
for his
shark
birthday.
mask for some
After
reason.
putting it on, Timmy starts to change. He doesn't like the things he used to.
Oh,
He
no.
becomes moody and aggressive. He even yells about protecting the others when Granddad walks towards him with a knife. Eventually, Timmy is
jeez.
led to an abandoned Freddy Fazbear's building by a shadowy figure. The whole thing gives off some very solid Midnight Motorist vibes. In order
Does
to
it?
rescue him, his mother teams up with a former Freddy's security guard named Mike. Turns out the Freddy mask was possessed by one of the children from the original Fazbear murders. When Timmy put on the mask, the spirit transferred into his body, which allowed it to control him. When Mike and Timmy's mom arrive at the restaurant, Timmy is on stage in Freddy's position, performing alongside Bonnie and Chica. After getting attacked by the puppet, Mike manages to get the Freddy mask back onto Timmy.
Why did
which
that get
captures
me?
the spirit. He then puts the mask back onto the original Freddy head, getting the spirit back to where it belongs. Now, gotta admit, I got really excited when I read the story.
That
Even
jump scare
suspected for a
got
while
me.
that FNAF 1 security guard Mike Schmidt was really Michael Afton going from location to location to undo the evils of his father, William. That's why we play as Mike through pretty much
That's
every
every game.
installment of the series up through Ultimate Custom Night. It's why Mike's name appears in Sister Location, why Fazbear Frights burns down in FNAF 3, and why the security guard in FNAF 2 is fired for tampering with animatronics
And
odor,
odor.
just like Mike was in FNAF 1. Up until now, that theory's never been confirmed, but this story seems to be strong evidence for exactly that idea. A security guard named Mike going around collecting the old artifacts from Freddy locations in order to help free the spirits of those trapped within.
Yeah,
So
I get
was
that.
already
That pretty much
cool and
confirms
totally
it.
made reading this book
I thought it
worthwhile.
was
Anytime we
confirmed,
can get
but
more evidence to support a theory with
that
the franchise,
solidifies the
absolutely
theory.
worth it. But while You're the Band was explicitly lore heavy, the other two stories were equally fascinating.
Scoop
but
and
for
Felix the
different
Shark.
reasons. There were details that felt odd or out of
Springtrap,
place, and comments
Shark.
from characters that seemed oddly specific in a way that just triggered my
How
lore-hunting
so?
senses. In the title story, Felix the Shark, we follow a young man named Dirk who's reminiscing
Okay.
with his friends about their shared experiences with Freddy Fazbear's. However, Dirk's memory is slightly different to everyone else's. He's convinced that there was an extra animatronic, a shark named Felix. When his friends make fun of him, Dirk sets
That
off
sounds
on a
cool,
cross-country
though.
quest to prove that he's not crazy. It takes him 6 restaurants, but Dirk eventually does learn the truth. It turns out Felix was made by the owner of one very specific Freddy Fazbear's after his son tragically drowned. Why would that lead him to a shark animatronic? Because it was a shark that actually pushed the body back to shore. Couldn't make this stuff up if I tried.
What?
Eventually, Dirk
The
does
shark
manage
pushed
to
the body
locate
back to
Felix.
shore?
The whole FNAF pizzeria is hidden inside an abandoned water park. But the weird part isn't the where, but rather the how of
That's
finding
strange.
Felix. You see, Dirk is only able to find the pizzeria using a series of clues that are found in a random novel written by the creator's
Random novel, you
daughter.
say?
In universe, Felix's creator also had a daughter who grew up to become a popular author. And in one of her books,
Okay.
The Dog and Dogma scientist, she hides a series of clues in plain sight within the book's dialogue. These clues ultimately prove meaningless to the characters in the book because they weren't meant for the characters. They were instead meant for the readers, to give them information they needed to find Felix. It is very weird. Anyway, Dirk figures all of this out and confronts the author. She gives him her butterfly necklace, and he uses all of this Indiana Jones style to unlock a secret key.
I don't know why, but I probably know why, but something bad is clearly gonna happen.
Secret Freddy's, where Dirk finally finds Felix, and then Dirk dies by climbing into the tank with Felix because these characters always have to die in the stories.
Why would you climb into the tank?
So be it. Anyway, you see what's so weird about all this, right? Out of nowhere, this story is talking about clues to a real-world.
How would you make it shark animatronic though without making it short circuit?
Characters, but meaningful to the readers. Not only did this stand out to me as a suspiciously meta moment, but it also got me to immediately think about the previous Fazbear Frights installment, Prankster. You see, in preparation for the release of Felix the Shark, I wanted to refresh myself on all the previous stories. There are 33 of these things after all. It's a lot to keep track of. So I turned to another book, the recently released Ultimate Guidebook, which, if you don't know, has summaries of literally everything that's ever happened in the Freddy Fazbear universe, from the games to the books to the fan theories. Basically, if you're trying to catch up with the series quickly, it's definitely worth a read. And since this is the third and final addition to the book, one written by Scott Cawthon, you know that whatever
the
is
ultimate guide,
relevant for the lore is going to be called out within its pages. Anyway, each
Freddy
Fazbear story has its own little summary page providing whatever that ice character is called. Connections between the story and the games. Not everything here is useful, but it definitely.
Why did you do spiders, Matt?
It helps you see some of the connections that the stories were trying to make. Again, if it doesn't make the cut to
I saw that they used Fredbear to bite on Scott's brain.
If something is called out within these pages, it's at least worth considering when theory crafting.
Alright.
As I was getting close to the end of my refresher course, I noticed this in the new lead section for the title story of Book 11.
Jeremiah, I was reading that.
Some of the puzzle clues, such as Stinger Moot and Even More Frights, have implications beyond the plot. Careful readers may want to give
Stranger
these
Moot,
scenes
Even
a
More
second
Frights.
look. Implications beyond the plot, you say. Just
Careful
like with Felix the Shark, it appears that the Ultimate Guide is also pointing us to meta clues within a different book. Clues that are meant for us, the readers, rather than for the characters in the story. So, I went back to Prankster. In this story, the main character, Jeremiah, is trying to save his friends from a mysterious, glitchy voice that's freed itself from a Fnaf VR game that's being worked on at the company. Sounds pretty darn familiar.
Sounds like I was gonna say sounds like Security Breach, but it's more like Fnaf VR.
Which is an anagram of testing room. Give me one and I'll make more. Each one like the one before.
Give me one and I'll make more.
Your
Each one.
next clue contains even more frights. To get there, you just need to follow the lights. I see you're moving closer to your goal. Follow the lights to make things right. And for the key to find where your friends hide,
roll up your sleeves and reach inside.
Now, I've gone back and forth over these clues multiple times, but it felt like a lot of them were just pointing back to stuff that we'd already discussed in previous theories. The give me one and I'll make more felt like a reference to the glitch trap cult.
It does feel like a reference to that theory. I was gonna say that game.
Maybe could be a reference to Princess Quest, where we have to light the lanterns to reveal the truth and eventually set Vanessa free, but none of this was new information. We've talked about all of this stuff in depth.
Or
Security
is it
Breach
new?
seemed to confirm some of this stuff. And to be honest, the connections I could make were speculative at best. I tried rearranging the letters into anagrams, didn't really get anything interesting. I even considered that maybe the Stinger Moot and Even More Frights clues were literal. The stingers of the Fazbear Frights books were the epilogues about the Stitch Wraiths, so maybe if the Stinger
I forgot all about the Stitch Wraith
stuff is ultimately meaningless. Even More Frights might refer to the next set of books, Tales of the
Maybe.
Pizza. I mean, sure, that's a valid explanation, but it was speculation at
The
best.
train one looks the
Also,
creepiest to
pretty
me.
darn lame. Why would you go to all the trouble of hiding meta clues like this about stuff that feels ultimately
Freddy equals bear.
these aren't really questions that people were asking themselves. So, at least according to the Ultimate Guide, there's definitely something hidden inside of that prankster story, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. But there was even more that was suspicious with Felix the Shark. You see, Dirk doesn't just find the secret Freddy's thanks to
That shark is gonna give me nightmares.
There's also a very specific drawing in the middle of that book.
Flowers
Here's
and
the full quote when
flowers and
describing
butterflies.
The Dogmatist, the book where the hidden clues are from. Quote,
Okay.
the man's search for the creature was convoluted on the whole, but certain lines in the book went beyond convoluted. They just didn't make sense. Neither did the drawing in the middle of the book, an ornate and frilly sketch of what looked like butterflies and flowers. The drawing was never referred to in the book, and it couldn't be related to any of the story. Were the odd lines and drawings some kind of code? For what purpose? And that's not the only time drawings are brought up in this one story. There was yet another odd reference in Felix the Shark that jumped out to me. Quote again, I'd forgotten all all about Freddy's, but yeah, now I remember.
I just noticed the animatronic
Freddy's
teeth in the
coloring
shark
books.
behind
That's
the
what started my
other set of
drawing.
teeth.
Eventually, I got tired of coloring and just drew the figures. Last year, the official Fnaf coloring book released, which for a normal franchise would be a big old who cares moment.
What's the big deal?
Where the biggest character reveals happened in a spin-off children's
That's true in
activity
the survival
book.
logbook.
I wouldn't put anything past this franchise. So it felt strange to mention a real-world item for it only to mean nothing. So, of course, I bought myself the coloring book and the official How to Draw book. I went through the pages over and over and over again, but the only
Did you
thing
find
I was
anything?
drawing was a blank. Seriously,
Ah.
I couldn't find anything. Loads of cool pieces of artwork, like this twisted chica that's only ever mentioned by name, but
Oh,
nothing
jeez.
major. I checked with black lights, I heated up a page or two to see if it would reveal some invisible ink.
Insert
Nothing,
lore
or at
here.
least nothing that I could find. And then it hit me. What if this wasn't about solving a mystery within the story, but instead something bigger, something more real? The clues
Is
in
that the
Dirk's
FNAF
book
4
didn't
box?
make any sense until you were in the right place at the right time. This could all be hinting at an ARG, where just like Dirk, if you find the location, suddenly the clues that people had been theorizing about for months start to fall into place. Which leads us to the final story of Felix the Shark, The Scoop. In this story,
Okay.
a young girl named Mandy is an online FNAF theorist. No joke, she even signs off one of her posts by saying, and I quote, "I can't share all my secret facts yet till I solve this game theory." Anyway, Mandy
Matt was
digs
referenced
through
in
the
another
code of
book.
FNAF 3, literally FNAF 3 the game. It is mentioned explicitly, only to discover a hidden picture of a building. She tracks it down and she learns about a real-life missing children's incident. After a few nightmares where the spirit of the dead child appears, she ends up going to the location.
FNAF 4 is
only
the
to
worst
find an
one.
old
It's the
animatronic
scariest one,
bear
at least
giving
in my
off a
opinion.
nasty smell. Surprise, surprise, the kid was inside of there the whole time. Mandy is praised as a hero for finally finding the missing child, and she closes out her blog by saying, quote, "I will probably never know for certain how this mysterious building is connected to the FNAF universe. The only thing I am certain of is if the creator wanted us to know, I think he would tell us."
I don't think
Just
Scott would.
wow. Feeling a bit attacked, not gonna lie. Though, in my defense, if we waited for Scott to tell us anything, we'd know next to nothing about this franchise's lore.
Yeah,
Just
you're probably
saying.
right
Anyway,
about that.
outside of the heavy references in this story to theorists and the real-world game of FNAF 3, the weirdest thing about this one is that it contains a lot of specific details as to where the events of the story take place. 33 Fazbear Frights in, and no other story in the franchise features this level of detail. The cities, the street names, file names,
Fazreal.
locations of
File
buildings,
Night at
details
Freddy's.
that are seemingly inconsequential to the greater story, and in pretty much every other book would be skimmed over or kept vague. When Mandy finds this mysterious image in the game files, she traces it back to Utah. Yes, the actual
To
US
Utah.
state. This fact is further solidified when Mandy's mom takes her on a business trip to Cedar City, a real city in Utah, to complete the investigation. Now, this is where the trail starts to go cold, because what Mandy's looking for is an old cinema on Willowfield Road in Peace Valley, which after a lot of Google searches, I can tell you just doesn't exist, at least not in Utah. However, in the story, we do learn that Peace Valley is only 15 minutes on highway from Cedar City, so I looked up where you can drive to in 15 minutes from the center of Cedar City. And it turns out there's a very small town just to the south called Canaraville. So
I would never
hopped
been
onto
able to
Google
pronounce
Street
that.
View to check out other details that the book mentioned, like the old cinema, which used to be a pizzeria, as well as having a post
Cinema
office
used to be
on
a
the corner.
pizzeria, okay.
Unfortunately, neither of these things seem to exist in
Wait, what?
Canaraville. They do have a post office, and it's near a corner, but it's more like the middle of the street. And so, shy
Okay,
of
so we
being
got
buying a
some
plane
kind of
ticket to go
location
to
for
the
it.
middle of nowhere, Utah myself, my options were once again drying up. So, okay, but what about the actual game? The game Mandy is playing is specifically called out to be FNAF 3. I wondered if Scott had maybe retroactively put a file into the game that maybe everyone's missed, so I went over to Steam and looked at the update logs, but the game hasn't been updated since April of 2015.
Oh,
and I very
jeez.
much
I
doubt that
forgot
Scott's
FNAF
been
3 came out
playing a
2015. It's been
7-year-long
so
con,
long.
especially since
7 years.
the first Fazbear Frights book didn't hit store shelves until December of 2019. But Mandy wasn't just playing FNAF 3, it's explicitly mentioned that she's playing the FNAF
I like how
3 mobile
if she's also
port.
FNAF
So
theorist
I took a
in
look
the
at those
books, she's
update
kind of like
logs. Same situation.
in a
The game
way
hasn't
like
been updated
helping
since
Matt.
February of 2020.
Not
Now, we don't
exactly,
know when
but
this
like
story got cut in the 2 years of Fazbear Frights run, so it could have been in existence then, but I'll be honest, I do not have the elite hacker skills to bust open a mobile game to look for the files. And so, just like that, I was out of options, out of clues,
Aw, man.
out of ideas. Gotta be honest, I feel kinda defeated on this one. Weeks
Then
of
again,
looking
this
through
thing
these
is
books trying
called
to
FNAF
find something
Stumped Me
that
again.
just wasn't clicking, and yet I couldn't shake it. The whole thing gave me
I
some
think
big
next time
Gravity
Matt will
Falls
have like an
ARG
idea.
vibes. For those of you who don't know, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Gravity Falls, did this massive globe
Yeah,
spanning
I like
ARG
Gravity Falls.
back in 2016. It was a series that was all about hidden
I
mysteries,
don't watch it anymore.
ciphers,
I watch it like
codes, complete with a
I used to
book,
watch
much
it.
like the survival logbook that you could buy that contained puzzles and secrets for the fan community to solve. And this ARG, launched after the conclusion of the show, tasked fans of the series from all corners of the map to work together in a quest that would eventually lead them to a statue of the show's villain, Bill Cipher, hidden out in the middle of the woods.
Bill.
Fnaf was seeding out clues for something similar, or maybe there were plans.
Maybe it's clues to the
do some
next
sort of treasure
game?
hunt, but the plans got scrapped along the way. I can't be sure, but there were just too many weird details here that didn't seem to be mere coincidences.
I want to bet
Regardless,
it's
I invested, but
it's
that
clues to the
day,
next
I
game.
was done. The last time I felt like this was
Can't
when
wait
the
to be proven
survival
wrong.
logbook released. But instead of giving up, I threw the clues that I'd noticed out to you guys. The
Who
theorist
is Golden
community
Freddy?
helped me solve it, and he came through. We
To the
found
word search.
Cassidy's name, a name that has since been confirmed by Scott himself. So here I am again at the end of my tether, asking you for help once more. It seems like something's here, but if it is, I can't figure it out on my own. Maybe you're a theorist from
That's
Utah
fine,
and
Matt.
you know the
We'll
locations I'm
help you.
talking about.
Everyone
Maybe
watching the
you
video
do
is
know
gonna
how to
help
break
you.
open the files of a mobile game. Maybe you're as obsessed with this franchise as I am, and you too.
I wouldn't say
have
I'm
the
that
coloring
obsessed
book,
with
and you
FNAF,
notice something
but
on those
it is
pages
definitely
that
my
I
favorite
don't.
like
We haven't
game
let
franchise.
FNAF beat us yet, and we're sure as heck not gonna let it happen today.
We
If you've gotten yourself some
I love that
answers
scene
or
from
maybe just
Endgame.
another lead, head on over to the Game Theorist subreddit to post your
I
findings.
can do
I'm
this
gonna
all
be
day.
keeping a very
Yeah,
close eye on
I
this one,
know.
because like you, I want to see this franchise solved. Link is down in the description below to check out the Game Theorist subreddit. And speaking of what's below the video, one final reminder about the new Theoryware, which is available now. It's one of the biggest launches that we've done in terms of sheer number of items available, and I'm super excited.
I gotta
finally
go
show
check
it
out
to you.
some
Also,
Theoryware.
I'm just gonna say it, if you do want the lava lamp, which I think is gonna be our hottest seller, both literally and figuratively, buy that one today or tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that one will probably sell out in a day or two. And some of these others, like the emergency
I gotta
broadcast
hurry.
and the Data Hunter sweatshirt, if I were to guess, are gonna be close behind. So if you have a theory yourself and you want to show off your theorist pride while helping to support everything we do here on the
I
channel,
didn't have a
grab
theory,
some of
but
this
I
new
uploaded a
collection
video
before
on
it
like
gets redacted from
what
the record and hidden in an
what I think
underground
could be the
vault.
canon
Our
unit of
shelf
FNAF
with
security
selected
breach.
items is right below the video,
It's
and
not
the
really a
full
theory, it's
roster
just my
is
own
available
it's only like my
right
own
now on
opinion on it.
theoryware.com. Thank you again for your support with the merch. Thank you again for helping me to solve this FNAF ARG, and thank you as always.
I can't wait for the
watching.
next one.
Remember, it's all just a theory. A game.